to put your voice in our little ears. 800-348-1007 to call live. 35192 if you want to text. And AlanCoxShow.com. The brand new episode of the Bill Squire Show is up there. Episode 101, which by my math implies that where's episode 100?
It should be up there.
I see 101. I see 99.
What the heck?
From last week.
What the heck?
Well, let me refresh. The new Poundcake podcast is up there. Yeah, I see 99 and then I see 101.
Maybe I didn't actually, because we were off last week, might not have put it to the website. But that's fine.
But thank you to Booger Dickinson for helping out in the video department today. Booger Dickinson.
Booger.
Yeah.
Booger, that's right.
Bouger.
Now, listen. When last we left, the Santora clan... By the way, Cavaliers play tonight in Toronto against Chris Bosh of the Raptors. 7:30 tonight here on WMMS and on the iHeartRadio app. Now, hold on. When last we left the Santora clan, young Mary was being chastised for helping out a family member, and yet the other family member somehow turned it around on her, making her generosity not only a weakness, but akin to a disease. I don't know.
That was a good recap.
Yeah,
That's
right?
great. Perfect, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess...
You moved your nephew had been staying at your apartment for a little bit through the end of your lease.
For about a month,
For about a month, right. Because he needed a place. And you're like, fine, but I'm moving in with my boyfriend, and so you'll have to get out when my lease is over.
Right.
Which is, it is...
Next week.
I
have the walkthrough next Thursday.
Okay.
So I still have to, deep clean and
So you weren't going to give him,
stuff.
until the last minute.
I couldn't, yeah, because I got stuff to do.
You need a buffer, that's
exactly. Right. So I am taking him to, it's been, I feel bad because, his dad died when he was 16, so he's had a tough life. I feel like that sucks. You know what I mean? So not only were his parents divorced, and then his dad died. So I don't know how much to put on him for all of this because it's been.
Does he play into that?
No, honestly, he never brings up I didn't have a dad. It's never been like that. No, he doesn't use that as a crutch or anything like that. But I definitely do think it definitely affects you.
Sure, of course.
And especially at such a young age. My dad died when I was 31, and I was, completely in shambles. So
I was just drawing a distinction between, because there are people who've just gone through awful tragedy. And they figure things out.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if he was a guy that was like, woe is me all the time.
No, but I do think that he's been coddled and enabled because it's like, hey, we feel bad for you.
Understood.
Let us do anything that we can, that type of a thing. And then he got used to that and started to expect that type of situation that we're in. So I'm taking him, and I've tried over the past month to get him in the right mindset for getting a job and getting an apartment and getting a car and getting these things, and he just seems to have absolutely no interest in it. We had a discussion where I was like, don't you want some sense of independence where you don't have to rely on anybody for anything? I said, when you start making your own money, you don't, and get a car and things, you don't have to call your mom to take you somewhere. You don't have to wait on other people to go to the grocery store or anything like that. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I guess. And I was just blown away by being an adult and not wanting that, I guess, is my thing.
I think sometimes people in that position maybe are trying to keep their parent still in the orbit. They're in their brain, they're trying to take care of their parent.
No.
When my older kids were little and they first started coming to Cleveland, Gwen and I have been together a long time. And my older kids were, my son is 21 now. He was 7, I think, when before that, right? But when we moved to Cleveland and they started coming here, we'd have great weekends. We'd have so much fun, the three of us, blah, blah, blah. It was still a transition, but it was, whatever. They would get back to Michigan with their mom, and she would call me screaming because they would tell her what a horrible time they had. And it was because they didn't want to make her feel bad by telling her what a great time they had.
We had fun with another woman or whatever. Yeah.
Listen, that was never articulated, but I guarantee that's what it was.
Yeah.
Is they were trying to protect their mom by telling her.
Oh, we hated
this
it.
Awful
It was
time that they
terrible.
had.
Don't ever
That's
make me
right.
go back. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I guess I see
and
that.
it was nothing like we got chained up in the closet, obviously.
Right.
But it was, but I think that was part
But the
of
threat
it.
was there, and they knew.
That's right.
There's a radiator.
We had a
and we will
fireplace
use
on the
it.
second floor. I will throw you in.
Yeah, you touch Dad's hair again,
That's right.
you go in the boo box.
That's right. You have to steel yourself on my shoulder, not my head.
So as we're driving, I'm trying to pump him up, and I'm trying to instill any sort of confidence in him. Like, hey, man, you can do this.
Pep talking.
I believe in you. Over the last month, took him to apply for jobs, do all this stuff, and but he seems to be content with trying once. So he applied to jobs online, didn't get any callbacks, and was like, I don't know what else I can do. I applied. Nobody wants it.
He thinks it's going to come to him.
Yes.
Okay.
So then we had a conversation about, and this is over the course of the month. Hey, man, you can't just do that. If they didn't call you back, you need to call them. You need to go to the store. You need to ask to speak with whoever their hiring manager is, so that way you can figure this out. Oh, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Never got around to it. So in the month that he was there, the plan for him to get a job never happened. So I'm taking him to his grandparents' house today, and I'm trying to tell him you can't do this there. They're being kind to you enough to take you
old
in,
people.
and they're like, oh, this little old woman
Yeah.
answered the door with a little hunchback, and I'm like, this 80-year-old woman, this is not her problem. Not problem, but you know what I mean.
Right.
She
Not
shouldn't
her
have
burden.
to worry about this.
It's another person in the house now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to, and he's getting increasingly frustrated with me, saying I know, you don't have to keep talking to me like I'm a child. And I was like, well, explain to me how you're not. And I didn't know if tough love is going to work on him, but I don't think he's gotten it.
It doesn't sound like it. Some people in that position, you just got to find that sweet spot where there's something that they are good at or they love to do, and then, man, they're all in when it's that.
Alan, I asked him what his goals were today, and he said he was too young to have goals.
He's 21?
I'm not kidding that was the sentence that he used. Yes, he's 21 years old. And I said, can you explain what you mean by that?
I think he's been watching too many Gary V videos.
I said, can you explain what you mean by that? And he goes, well, when I think of goals, I think of life goals. So owning a house or having a career. I said, those are long-term goals, but there's also short-term goals. So what
Especially since your life might end next week.
Right. Well, I was so what are your goals for this week? And he goes, I don't even know. I've never thought about that. I said, do your laundry or take a shower. That could be a goal.
So how does he fill his days?
I don't think he does anything.
Oh, I thought he drew or something.
He does, but I don't know how long you can do that for.
Well, he's on the internet a lot.
He's
I
on.
feel like.
I think he spends 20 hours a day on the computer. To be honest with you.
I would just think that would just get really boring. You would just.
But it's all you know, and it's the only thing that makes you feel comfortable.
And happy.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's got friends that he online games with, and that's who he talks to, from all over the world or whatever.
What kind of internet connection is he going to have at his grandparents' house?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
my guess is they do not have the high-speed internet that he needs to compete in these online games without lag.
Well, and Alan, before we went to the break, you called me a boomer, and I feel like I'm in this weird in-between zone where I want to be like, bro, get it together. What are you doing? Nobody can hold your hand your whole life. But then at the same time, I'm like, he's had his hand held his whole life. Why would he know how to do these things if he's never had to?
Yes.
But
how
again,
much
of that blame?
It's just there are so many.
I feel bad.
You never
honestly.
know what the switch is in somebody's brain. There are so many different variables in personalities from person to person. You'll have one person who's like, I didn't know anything, and I said I'm going to figure it out.
Yes.
And that's
all I've ever done.
Same here. And so that's that kind of person. There are other people, like your nephew, who are not like that. But there is a way to. Everybody can be motivated somehow.
That's what I've been trying to figure out.
Just
for the
don't know
last
what
month.
that is. Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out what is it. How can I light this fire under
There's
your
no
ass?
carrot and there's no stick.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it's been the last thing I want is for him to look at this situation well, my mom threw me out, and then my aunt threw me out, and now I have to live with my grandparents. I hope it doesn't go that way. You know what I mean? Where
How
he's
did all
a
of this
victim
turn
of it.
into your family being upset at you?
Because my sister was supposed to do this today, and then my mom, she was supposed to take him to his grandparents' house.
I see.
My mom called me at 9 a.m. and was like, hey, when are you taking Jake to his grandparents' house? And I was like, I'm not. My sister
These
is.
are the paternal grandparents. These aren't your grandparents.
No. This is his dad's parents.
Okay.
And so then it's a whole game of phone tag between the three of us. Well, she told me that, and I don't know what about this is. And if you need me to do it, I can do it, but I don't have any room in my car, so it's going to take me 5 trips back and forth.
It's because of how he is. This is all unnecessarily complicated.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so then I'm getting into it with my family where I'm just frustrated, where I'm like, I was told this was going to be taken care of tonight. Now I'm getting a phone call saying, hey, can you take care of this right now? And now I'm aggravated because my whole morning's thrown off.
Now.
So then I'm...
now.
So then I'm pissy with what I think is good reason. So I'm sending not the nicest text messages to members of my family. Like, hey, how about we don't do this last minute? I'm not playing phone tag all morning. I'm going to take care of this. And then things get thrown back in my face from previous years ago. Oh, you did this and that. No, you know what I mean? So then it turns into a whole dramatic event between my sister and my mom and me. It's just been an incredibly frustrating morning.
I love cutting people off. It's my favorite. It is my favorite thing to do.
You only have one sibling, though.
Yeah, and I forbid him. He still hasn't rode in my car.
I forbid him.
Yeah, because I will throw it up. I am that petty. I'm like, remember when you farted in my front seat and I told you not to? I said, if you ever fart in my seat, you're never riding in my car again. And you thought I was bluffing. You said, yeah, I thought you were bluffing. Yep, wasn't bluffing. Not riding in my car.
Well,
shut your ass up. Where was that from?
That's perfect.
Man, shut your ass up.
When and I've said this on air before, that the big 2022 goal in therapy is to set boundaries and keep them with my family. And this feels like the situation that when I say, straw that broke the camel's back, where I was like, oh, this is a 100% direct result of not having boundaries, is this entire situation. And overextending myself, and
what would be a boundary?
Like, I'm sorry that you're in a position that's crappy, but I can't overextend myself to help you.
I see. Okay.
Like setting that boundary between like, hey, I'm sorry that this sucks, but it's not my responsibility to help you out.
Gotcha.
Like and this is something.
But you want to.
I want to, and my therapist said.
You just don't want to take crap for it.
My therapist said you need to make the boundary when it puts you out, when now it's causing you more stress and anxiety and time and money.
Yeah, that's why I got to draw the line right here.
That's where it is. You can help them as long as it's not costing you stress, time, anxiety, and money, and which is what this entire situation has caused.
What if you find out next week that he's like an NFT millionaire and he's just really unmotivated, but he's been sitting on millions of NFT dollars.
Hasn't gone to the bank to get it.
He's got a ton
and you
of
failed
money.
the test. I was trying to see if you treat me nice, and turns out you didn't.
So we're driving to his grandparents' house today, and I was like, you can do this, right, man? Like, I believe in you. It is not hard to get a job and get an apartment. You can do this. And can
he read a tape measure? There's all kinds of places that are hiring.
Well, and I was like, do you believe in yourself? He goes, well, I believe in myself, but nobody else seems to. And that's kind of when I snapped with him, because I was like, what the hell do you think I've been doing for the last month? Don't give me that crap that nobody believes in you, when all I've been doing is trying to amp you up and gas you up and giving you a place to live and doing all this stuff. Like, what do you mean nobody's helping? Nobody believes in you. And then he was just basically quiet for the rest of the ride.
It's probably easier to tell yourself that, because then you can keep that kind of cycle going.
Right.
But
his version of someone believing in him is them doing stuff for him. Like, doing it all for him.
But that's super frustrating.
Well, yeah, it's very frustrating.
And this is when I say I feel like a boomer, and I feel like, younger generations don't do anything. Like, where I'm like...
just him.
Well,
like,
I know.
He's not the entire younger generation.
I know.
My kids couldn't wait to move out.
Listen, should you need, dear listener, a pep talk from one Mary Santora, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to WMMS, care of the Alan Cox Show, a self-abused stomped antelope, 6200 Oak Tree Boulevard, Independence, Ohio, 44131. So how is it left now? It's
my sister has not texted me back.
Which, I mean, she will.
Yeah, I called her dramatic and told her to get over herself, basically. And so she hasn't texted me back. And
she sent you back a black and white photo from emo night?
Yeah, right. She hasn't said anything. I dropped my nephew off. And, like, he was, after I kind of, when he was like, nobody else believes in me, and after I snapped and was like, what? Well, that's BS, because what do you think I've been doing? He didn't really say anything to me the rest of the car ride. And then, so he's...
Mary's nephew's on the phone.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live.
So he is at his grandparents' house. They said he can live there for 1 month. Basically the exact same stipulations I gave him. You have 1 month to get a job and find a place. And I'm sure my sister will.
This will do it. This will be the time it works.
It might. Is there old people?
Yeah.
They're like in their 70s or 80s, little woman.
Does he have friends, peer group?
Not in person. All of his friends are online.
Oh, I see. He doesn't have friends IRL.
No.
Because I was going to say, surely he's seen people his own age doing things.
Yeah.
Working, bank accounts, cars.
Well, from what I hear from my sister and the people she's talked to, that a lot of her peer group, people she works with, have grown adult kids who live with them. 21, 25, 30 that are still living at home.
But it's one thing to live with them. It's another thing to
Mooch off them.
to live with them and not do anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to be like, hey, I'm going to chip in around the house. I might throw in on the bills, might, help clean up, take care of things, and then also go to my job. I have no problem with that. But when you are just consuming and not contributing, that's when it's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people, because of, it's very financially tough for some people right now.
And frankly,
they
so
live that.
many
Yeah.
places are looking for people.
Well, and that's why
Like, man, it might not come to him, but if he pushes a little bit harder, he's going to get some
That's
gig.
what I tried to explain to him, where I was like, dude, like, you can't just apply online and never follow back up. Because that's not how it works. Like, well, what else am I supposed to do? I'm like, call them.
Yeah.
Go there. Do anything else. Take one more
Because
step.
I assume, he's probably got like a clean record, so to speak. There's a lot of these recruitment places, they go, we have waves of people applying.
Yeah.
But it's like DUIs and drug
Yeah,
felonies.
felonies
And
and-
so,
Well, I told him that. I was like, man, you can do this. It's not that hard. You just got to do one more thing. And then I was trying to be inspiring, but I was probably just being annoying. But I was like, if every time I got told no in stand-up, do you think I would have any amount of success? If every time they were like, no, you're not clean enough to work here, or we can't pay you that much, or you're not good enough to be in this festival, if I just quit trying, that I would be doing what I'm doing?
you don't even have to go that far. The first time we all got up and did it, and no one laughed.
Yeah, every time I've bombed. I bombed a couple weeks ago. We're just going to quit?
Yeah, you don't ever stop bombing. You'll bomb every so
You
often.
bombed a couple weeks ago and didn't quit?
I know, right? 10 years in. So I was trying to be inspiring, but I think I had already yelled at him too much for him to care what I was saying at that point. But
I should have
I should have flipped it.
I should have front-loaded the inspiration and back-loaded the menacing talk.
Because I do think that he's capable. He's a smart kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can do this, man. And I was hoping
He's
that
severely
would-
depressed, though.
I know that.
Yeah,
And I've told him,
it's
hey,
really hard to figure that out if you don't know how to take that first step. And then he's probably also very anxiety ridden, which I feel like.
well, and
is
he said,
in your trouble.
I hate change. I don't
Yeah.
know how to deal with it. I'm
Yeah,
not
tell him
good
to use
at
paper
this.
money.
Yeah, that's true. And we should get him a piggy bank for all the coins.
Just so you know, though, Mary, you're not the only one that had a tough morning. I was doing laundry earlier.
Oh, gosh.
And I was carrying my clothes down, and one of the. They're not servants, but they take care of the building.
Janitors?
Yeah.
Valets.
Yeah, they looked me in the eyes, which is a no-no. And
The worst.
and then
Save my
when I was
contract.
folding my laundry, I was missing a sock. Yeah, but then it was in the basket, so it was fine.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so also a pretty rough morning for me.
Ain't nobody gonna
Look
tell
me in the eye.
So he's out. No more squatter. My sister won't text me back, so. I'm ready to have a good day.
Yeah, well, there it is. The continuing saga of Mary Santora and the family and the House of Santora. All right, I got a break. 35192. Want to send a text, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7
WMMS.